Greetings to the people of Ambazonia and welcome to your favorite program, Our Amba History. Our Amba History is coming to you today live over ABC Amba TV, and very soon, we will be getting into the whole matter. But before then, listen.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yeah. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Yelele.
Thank you very much, Reverend Sama. Thank you so much. The question I want to ask you before we begin is, does Abba Father know your name in Ambazonia? If he doesn't know your name in Ambazonia, just know that you are missing the shots. You better come in so that Abba Father will know your name. 3 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. in Boya, this is ABC and this is our Amba History. Now, I want to send 21 gun salute to the Ambazonians who are standing up for the defense of the homeland, especially those who are very serious that have not yet heard the smell of money, because a number of people have been carried away by crumbs that they call money. A few days ago, we had our Amba man who came in to tell us what we have in Ambazonia. And this was, to me, a very big motivation for every Ambazonian to sit up and be very, very angry for us to send out these frogs so that we can get the real thing. But I don't know why many people want to go by crumbs. So if you are a fighter on home front and you have been deceived by the crumbs that you are being given, my dear friend, I want to encourage you. Time has come, and this is the time for you to get up and join us in getting these frogs out of our land. Oh yes, by all means, because they came to us with machetes. Remember, I told you a few days ago how that Jesus told Peter, put back the sword into its sheath. That means into the bag where you brought it out. And another place I showed you from the scriptures how Jesus said, well, when I sent you out, you didn't lack anything. But this time around, I asked you to sell your garments and buy a sword, because there was going to be a time for the sword to be used. So, Ambazonians, this is the time we must stand up for the defense of our homeland and follow the example of Nehemiah. We are no more children of God today than in the days of Nehemiah when he was to recover the land. I don't think God has changed. Oh yes, Jesus came. Jesus paid the price. But did he pay the price for you to be oppressed? Of course, no. You must stand up and face the music. It is from Genesis right over to Revelation, where God has told us, in your patience, possess your possession. And that you should put on the whole armor of God. The whole armor of God. Now, with all that is written in Ephesians, it did not tell you to fold your hands and to stay quiet. I am encouraging every child of God to get into politics. As I explained yesterday, politics is not a bad word. Neither is it a bad game. It is the bad people that destroy politics. We are talking about our Amba history. I want to tell you that the Ambazonians who started this fight from the imperialistic hands of France were gentlemen of good faith, morally upright, morally sound, and morally standing. Those were the people that were ready to fight and give back our land because of their moral uprightness. But today, under the guise and intimidation of satanic people, we have been sent behind the bench. Then you see every pastor and every Christian who is claiming that they are holier than thou will not want to lift up a finger against injustice. Hey, if you cannot lift up a finger against injustice, that means that you are a compromiser. Because any person who is quiet in the face of injustice is an accomplice. Or anyone who comes out for peace. Let me tell you, there cannot be peace in the midst, or there cannot be peace where there is no justice. So I throw away 21 gun salute to those who are standing strong, and to those of you who are already going with a bloodthirsty appetite for money. I want you to come back. God has something more than money for you. And God has revealed, with or without you, that Ambazonia must be free and must stand on their own. So whether you run from where to where and you do whatever you do, God can do with you, and God can do without you. Oh yes, he's looking just for a man. And of course, at this juncture we are talking about, he has found a man. Please share and share so that people can learn. Because when people are ignorant of what is going on, they are dull. They go back and believe in themselves, of which they have nothing to believe in. I've heard some people tell me, well, that una thing. But they are sitting there waiting for us to fight, and then they enter and enjoy the una thing. I agree. Well, there are always some people that make history, and some that write history, and some that read history. So right now, we are in the midst of making history. We are in the midst of making history. And as we are in the midst of making history, we want to encourage you to write your name in the making of this history. Because if you write your name in the making of history, I assure you and I tell you, it shall be in the archives of God that you stood and you fought for your people. All right, with that said, I want to keep us in remembrance that you need to remember what God has done. And when you remember what God has done, can you join me in shouting hallelujah with any on when I remember? All right, let's stay back, relax, share the link, and of course, invite people to be a part of the program today. Amba History.
Let us rejoice and declare, hallelujah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Annie. We do remember. And as we remember, we make sure that we cope up with what we remember. I just want to tell the Ambazonians today that we are making history, and our history is evolving, or what I call current events. They are evolving into the history that should propel us to go further. We come here to encourage every Ambazonian to know that you can be a part of the history that is being made, and also to let you know that a hero yesterday is not guaranteed to continuously be one tomorrow. And that depends very much on the individual. If you are a hero today, you can decide to maintain you are being a hero till the end, or you can decide to jump out from the train that has made you a hero to become a useless person tomorrow. It has happened. And that's why we warn you as Ambazonians. Let us know that no one of us is indispensable as far as this fight is concerned. You cannot say without you, we cannot continue. No, you have made a mistake. And the only person who has a final say in our effort is God Almighty, the Creator, to whom this battle was handed over to in 2018 by our, at that time, acting president, Dr. Samuel Sako Ikome. And at this time, our interim president, Dr. Sako Ikome, after 4 years, he's still standing straight and strong and still maintaining the heroic position. So if you are a hero yesterday, it can be possible you continue to be a hero right up to the end. And of course, it can be possible you stop being a hero when you miss the track. And he has decided not to miss the track. I remember in our history, Ambazonian history, where everybody was looking up to the strong man of the the SDF. That's Ni John Frondi. And he was like the face of the revolution. But today, every Ambazonian, even the one who was born yesterday, can tell the story that he is now a shadow of what he used to be. The substance is gone. It's now just a shadow. And even the party has gone. There is nobody to stand there, because if the foundations are destroyed, what can those who are righteous in that foundation, what can they do? There's nothing they can do. It's just to break it down completely and go start from the square. God has been testing people in the making of the history of Ambazonia to make sure that the people who step in to contribute in the current events and go ahead and make the history come alive, he has been watching and waiting. And today we can see that the history is progressing. A number of people have come and a number of people have gone. But guess what? A number of people are still coming. And the people that shall deliver, some few might be in this train now, and many might be in the train that is to come. But as I said before, it depends on you if you will want to be amongst those who will put and write the rightful perspective of history. A number of our patriots, like Joe Litombe, like Gomjoa, like so many of them who did their best, they have gone. And today, there is not a single day in the lips of the Ambazonian people that will not mention these people's names. But look at our illustrious son, who actually orchestrated and sold us when he was given a position that was not belonging to him and he took it. Estimuna. I am sure very few people mention him. And when they mention him, they mention him for evil. Not even for good, but for evil. And so, Ambazonian people, I want to let you know that we are still in the course of making history. And history will remember you, especially for good, in Ambazonia, because the Ambazonian people do not have a record of wrong. We don't keep it. And so it's just once in a while that we mention the people who thwarted history, who actually try to bring us backward in history. And you will all know, in this our century, I want to remind the Ambazonian people that in 2017, the 1st of October, the Ambazonian struggle did not create a new nation. No, we restored. A new nation was restored in 2017. And when this nation was restored, which according to grammar, it means that it existed before. Now, when something is restored, what happens? You go back to repair the breaches. You go back to repair that which was destroyed. And what are we expecting and planning to repair? We are planning to repair our roots, our foundations that were built on ethical perspectives. And that's why every Friday like today, we are coming up with ethics for an emerging nation. And these ethical values is the foundation of a righteous and strong nation. Corruption has been known to be the cankerworm and to be the caterpillars that pull down the pillars. But Ambazonia has decided not to have it in that way. And that's why it doesn't matter who you are, if you try to disrespect the Bible of the Ambazonian people at this stage, which is called the Constitution, like in the lips of Ayuktabe, you will be thrown under the bus. And when he tried, as one of the first individuals who went against his own words, of course, he discovered that the Ambazonian people are determined people and there is no respect of persons when it comes to the Ambazonian quest. He was thrown under the bus for trying to control us from prison. And so any other person, like a few months ago, we saw the little commenter who didn't even know his constitution trying to, usurp authority and become almighty. And as days went by, we suddenly discovered that there were so many people hiding under the defunct Restoration Council and shouting and making noise without even contributing for the humanitarian support that we have been fighting and calling on all Ambazonians to support. A few weeks ago, when a check was made in my LGA, I was shocked with some people who were on the high horse over there, and I saw that they contributed absolutely almost nothing, but they were making the loudest noise. So Ambazonia is not going to build on people who are hypocrites. What am I saying? If you talk the talk, then make sure you walk the talk. You don't talk the talk and walk differently, or you don't walk differently and talk the talk. No, you must match it together. So we are saying here, in the building of Ambazonian history, in this our current event, if you are a leader and you are not contributing to the humanitarian request that we have made in the interim government, I am sure, and I'm telling you, you are not fit, you are not qualified to stand and talk anything to anybody concerning the humanitarian support that we are talking about. Listen to me again and listen very well. We are told that South Korea became a nation that has no little corruption at all because they started judging the corrupted people from the top. not from under. In most African countries, the people that pay the price are the pedigree people, those who are right down there, the pickpockets. But the real thieves are the ones that have titles. And so Ambazonia is doing everything to fish out those who say they are leaders and cannot prove by their contributions. And that's why in the interim government, we are doing everything to begin to implement and to put in place what we shall obtain in Boya. So that when we get into Boya, we shall not be struggling to see how we can do to build up an ethical, moral society. At war, we are bringing up all these things, and that's what makes Ambazonia a different nation. That even during the war period, we are able to carry out checks and balances and to vet those who are criminals and trying to hide with a big position and their grammar in the government of Ambazonia. No, we shall not go by your grammar. No. We shall not go by your expertise in talking. Just talking. Anybody can make noise, but want to see your action. And your action is, have you paid and contributed to your CID? I know at the moment now it's on hold because of the thieves that came in and tried to hijack the institutions of the interim government. But before then, have you been paying your citizenship? If you have not been contributing to building a nation of Ambazonia, my dear friend, you are just a noisemaker. And sometimes when I'm talking here, I see a lot of the noisemakers who have never contributed any dime come up and talk trash and talk about money that they never contributed. Like I recently discovered in my county. We were talking about money, and they even went into start to play games with money that they did not contribute. And now it is very clear that when you find people shouting at the top of their voices, go and find out. They may not be the contributors. They just talk because others are talking. Show us your receipt, sir. Yes, ma. Show us your receipt of your contributions. Then we will know that you have a voice to talk. And that's why when the defunct Restoration Council was abolished and thrown out, some of us had our eyes open, because when the records were open, we were shocked. That's Paras English. Shocked. We were shocked to see that there are so many people hiding in the cabinet at that time. I hope and I wish nobody should be in the cabinet today who is not complying. If you are in any of the branches of the government, of the interim government of Ambazonia, of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, and you are not complying, I think it is time you jump out or you'll be fished out. Oh yes. Now, when I say not contributing, I'm not only talking financially. Finances is part of it, but contributing morally, intellectually, strategically, all these are very important. But then you should not leave the order undone. If you are contributing financially, that's good. If you are contributing morally, that's good. Strategically, that's good. But put all together, it's a whole package. That if one is missing, you are not doing the much that you're supposed to do for your Ambazonian people. And so that's why we are encouraging the branches of the government, the judiciary, the ethics, and of course, the interim House of Reps, to make sure that they do constant checking with their members who are sitting up there to make laws. If you are making laws that you cannot obey, that you cannot comply, then you are just a hypocrite. And guess what? Our lives are led by a spirit, not by what you say. When you say something, what people are hearing is a spirit. And the spirit of hypocrisy that is in you, especially if you're a government official and you're not contributing, that hypocrisy will go down to everybody, right down to the LGA roots. I will be surprised. You know, there are people who have made vows 2020, 2021, and 2022, and they have not paid. Hey, excuse me. Listen, if you cannot pay because sincerely and truly you are having a problem to pay, then that is understood. Just make your report to be known in your LGA, to be known to your chair or to your leader. Then that is you can be exonerated. And when they're calling the names of people who have not paid, even if you are there, but because your situation is known, you will be exonerated. We don't want to force anybody to go steal so as to make it. No, 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 no. Ambazonians are righteous people, you know, and I've been paying my dues. Now, when we launched 2022, I was like, God, how do I do? How do I do about this? I went and prayed. And as I prayed, a few days ago, already 1/4 of my dues for 2022 have been paid. Yes, by somebody. God is not going to send money from heaven. No. That's why in our history, we must make referral to the covenants of God. He said, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, shall men, not God, shall men give to you. So when you pray, and you have done your part that you have done, men will give to you. I'm expecting men to complete my 2022 draft as has been in the past. You say, historian, you mean you don't have money? Oh no, you got me wrong. All the people in Ambazonia that have the money is our money. And will they pay for your own? Of course. Did I ask anybody? No. So how did they do it? God did ask them. And God will be talking to somebody right now to add to the 1/4 so that I can go up to half that have been paid. And I shall be paid. Oh yes, I have my boss that every now and then, you know, when we are doing drafting, he comes in and he drafts. He say, hey, hold it there. Don't ever mention my name. And I say, yes, boss. And I've not mentioned his name. So my boss knows that at the end of the day, he has to do something for his servant. Hey, historian, you mean you have a boss? Of course, we do respect our bosses. I have a boss. I have a boss. And who is your boss? I may ask. Oh, that's a trickish question. You want me to reveal the name of my boss? I will not. But I have a boss. Anyway, I'm saying that you can make history and you can write history and you can report history. What I am coming to tell Ambazonians here is that our full history, which was reported to us on March 21st, 2022, by the Secretary of State for Communication, Dr. Martin Mungwa. I have been telling you this. Now, I am making this repetition so that many of you who have ears, sometimes you forget. There are a lot of noises outside there that make you to believe that they are speaking for the interim government, but they are impersonating. When you impersonate, that means impersonation means that you take somebody's identity and you click it on your chest. Meanwhile, you are not the one. And so there's somebody out there who is always telling people, I am talking as the Secretary of State for the interim government. It's not true. The Secretary of State for the interim government is Dr. Martin Mungwa. Dr. Martin Mungwa is the Secretary of State for Communication in the interim government. So any other person who is claiming any other thing is a lie. Take it from me. And you can find out. Go and do your findings. Now, thieves can come into your house, like Pali Tumbe said, steal your shirt, wear the shirt for 30 days. At the end of the day, when you discover the shirt, is it still your shirt or automatically it belongs to that thief? Of course, it's still your shirt. So it doesn't matter how much a thief will claim your name and your identity, he's a thief. But the day it will be discovered, that thief will have to give back. In fact, the Bible says that he will have to add the fifth part. That's 5 times what he stole. That is in the Bible. But today, we want the thieves who have stolen the identity of the interim government and they are parading with it. They've even tried to steal the institutions of the interim government, and they have made the people out there to think that the institutions of the interim government have been destroyed. No, they are intact. The Ambassador Foundation, the ABC Foundation, and Southern Cameroon Foundation, which are all embodied and they make up the interim government. Nobody has stolen them. Until we took the money, they didn't take any money. Just wait. Time will tell. Where are the people that got up yesterday and they were shouting, crucify him, crucify him? Where are they today? Silent? No, gone to a certain corner. The people who are listening to them are those who are a little bit gullible, maybe not gullible, but those who are ignorant. And when you are ignorant, of course, and you refuse knowledge, you will remain in that ignorance. And so Dr. Martin Mungwa came up on the 21st of March 2022 and gave a full story of our history. And he said, most of our people who are not familiar with the current interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, with its president, Dr. Samuel Sarko Ekome, should note that he took over from Ayuk Tabe, who on the 1st of October 2017 restored. And it's shocking to me that there are a number of doctors in the southern Cameroons, a number of doctors who are southern Cameroonians who do not actually understand the meaning of restoration. And it's shocking to me that a country that has been restored, that was acting before, people now come and say, let's put it revolutionary. Has a country ever been ruled by a council? A country that has its institutions? There should be always an interim. If that person is not the real person there, he should be interim, not to change the name. Like I hear a parade of a certain Ambazonian something something, I won't want to mention the name here because it's disgusting, where thieves will go hijack Ambazonian Foundation and issue a receipt from the Ambazonian Foundation in the name of Ambazonian something something, which is short of Ambazonian Foundation. That is to tell you that the fraud that France has been making has buried in the system of a number of people. And guess what? Except America has backslided from its virtues, then the fraudsters who are in America will go free. But if the government is still standing to judge anybody that tries to fraud in America, then it's just a matter of time. You will hear the history and you hear the story. We don't want to be repeating many of these things to you, but we discover that a number of people are still very, very ignorant and are still, running after people that don't have substance. Come in and support your LGA. Come in and support your county. Come in and support your government. Because it is only your government that has a house where you can go in and come out. But any other place is just patching up. And people who are patching up, they can leave you by the corner of the road tomorrow and disappear. And I just pity those who are at the forefront of this scam. Those whom they have sent to go and change the passwords of the Ambassador Foundation. They are in the IT department. You are going to be the culprits. And those who have attempted to siphon money by wire fraud, being instigated by those who are sitting behind. Their names are not there, but they push you ahead and you go to do it. As a historian and as somebody that is trying to help us make the clean history, if you have attempted that kind of a thing, you better quickly go back, do restitution, make amends before you are taken to the court. Because if you get there, my dear friend, those people who are pushing you ahead will never help you. Trust me, they will disappear into oblivion. You will never see them, but you are gone. So those of you who are running ahead, like I heard my very good friend crying. Why was he crying? Because he was deceived. There is an evidence. There is an evidence. And at the end of the day, there was no evidence. Now, the Secretary of State for Communication, about 2 months ago, or 3, March, April, May, June, okay, that's about 3 months, getting to 4 months, reinstated and emphasized the role that was played by our restoration on the 1st of October 2017. And then he went ahead and gave a rundown of the restoration. And before he concluded, he went into the high tricks of La République. That when they had exhausted their attempted manipulation of the people of Ambazonia and discovered that they could not go that route, they finally declared an open war, thinking that as they could not defeat Ambazonians intellectually, they tried to make us, we look like sheep. We were behaving sheepishly. And they thought that these are real fools. That's why some of them went ahead to call us Anglophile, because they thought that we were fools. But they discovered that their crafty, cunning, sensual wisdom was wicked. And that the honesty and the wisdom of the Ambazonian person was the one that was bringing results. And when they discovered that they could not beat us with their crafty, wicked wisdom, and that the wisdom that we have, which was honest, truthful, and sincere, was beating them hands down, they said, let's go by war. And they had all the arsenals of war. They came up with all the arsenals of war. And I just begin to wonder if people are not insane and demental. How will you carry a machine gun to go and fight somebody that you don't see? They carry machine guns from their demonic headquarters, went right over to go and fight spirits. You know, guerrilla warfare is a war that is called a spiritual warfare, in the sense that they hit and disappear. They are human, so yeah. But we are telling La République, who are very stupid and dull, that you don't need to carry your arsenals of weapons to go over there to go and fight who. That is why they have resulted in killing civilians, killing innocent children, old men, burning them in houses and so on, because they mistakenly thought that a spiritual and a guerrilla warfare can be fought with the machinery. Now, France and other compatriots that are sympathizing with the demonic La République of Cameroon use their different methods, metaphysically, went into necromancy, call all the voodoos from Benin, invoke the Grand Master, who unfortunately came and met his untimely death when he landed on the soil of the real people. See, this soil, it speaks so. It speaks. From the Bible, it says that God is angry with the wicked every day. That means as you put your foot on the soil that was created by God, the soil is angry. It became a time where people provoked God to the point that the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them. Oh yes, it's recorded. That is history. The earth was so angry and opened its mouth and swallowed them alive with everything that they had. Hey, Ambazonians, you better stand on the right side. On the right side, you may look as if you are losing, but then if you continue and march on to the righteous side, I am telling you the results shall be different. And the results are soon coming to be different. One of the nations in the world that has never won a war, we have told you time and time again, is France. And if you go back into history to look at the countries that they could not conquer, they ended up just burning the places, destroying everything, pouring concrete into the pipelines to stop them from having water, every wicked activity that they could do. And if they have started doing that in Ambazonia, they came up to lie that the 9 people who killed people in my village, the soldiers who killed people in my village, they are in prison in Bamenda. Who told you? La Republique. You're going to give them medals for killing Ambazonians. That has been their strategy, to kill them little by little. They don't want to go the way of Rwanda. In 3 months, about 1 million people were destroyed. This is 5 years. We are counting to our 40s and 50s that have been killed. That's destroying them little by little. They don't want to go massively. And the one that they go massively, that what happened in Missing Village a few days ago, they will come out to apologize. The one of Garbu, they came out to apologize. The burning of the hospital in Manfe, they have apologized. And they are saying that, they try to confuse the international community. But this is their pattern of life. And they all know that this is the way of life of France. France is always coming in to cause this kind of atrocity and make human beings suffer. Do you know one of the poorest nations in the world, Haiti, is as a result of France collecting taxes that they never built anything in that place. That place is poorer than my village where I come from. But France is there exploiting them like they are doing to other countries in Africa. Ambazonia has refused, and it is your cooperation as an Ambazonian and my cooperation. Let's come out with this humanitarian aid and support our boys who are defending our homeland to make sure that the last frog leaves our country. I want to also here recognize and tell the Ambazonian people of the spiritual cabinet of Ambazonia that is standing with God, holding on to the horns of the altar, reminding God day and night of his promises for Ambazonia. And God is revealing to his servants, some of them right under the nose of La Republique, to tell the truth. Some of them have been killed because they spoke out. Some of them are under siege because they have spoken out. But guess what? Nobody can pocket God. And so, Ambazonians, I'm here to encourage you. Please, the draft will soon start. The one of 2020, 2021, the Ambazonians that stood in their local government areas to receive the money and use it to help our boys to defend our homeland, some of them put it in their pockets. And guess what? Pockets that had holes. And today they cannot account for it. Some of them were sincere, but they were robbed. Some of them, they stage played robbery. Yes, robbery. They stage played robbery. They pocketed the money and raised an alarm, accusing nobody that the money has been taken. And that is exactly what the devil wants. But with the ethical instructions and teachings and with the standard that our president has demonstrated and shown to the people of Ambazonia, with his team that are closely working with him now. You know, in the time past, he was working with real armed robbers who were as dangerous as slow waters that run deep. And they did everything to make sure that he was betrayed. But their manipulations did not work. I'm talking about Dr. Samuel Sako Ikome. That their manipulations over this man, because he's a man of God, he prays, and then a number of people joined in to claim that they were men of God, and they started working with him, just like the sons of Sceva in the Acts of Apostles. I adjure you in the name of Jesus that Paul is preaching. And the demons showed them pepper. So these so-called pseudo men of God, whom nobody called, but they called themselves, some of them that every business around them was failing, and they suddenly discovered that they can become something in, they joined the revolution, which is very common, because I'm told that so many people left Egypt, but Egypt did not leave them, and they died in the wilderness, and they murmured in the wilderness. That's why I started by telling you that a hero yesterday is no guarantee to remain a hero forever. And there is nobody that can stop you from being a hero forever, apart from yourself. When you jump out from the train and you follow your own ways, you cannot be a hero. But you can be a hero right up to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, we are making the history. Our telephone lines are up. In a few minutes, I'll be rounding up. You have a concern, you can call that number you see. But I don't want people who are calling to ask for support. If you need for support, go to your local government area. Yes, go to your local government area. There you will have all the support that you can be given from this house. The interim government is taking care. A group of young men whom I'm told have been terrorizing their own people, they have exhausted, and they discover that the people don't even have again to give them. They are now making noise on social media. Well, if you have repented and you are willing, the interim government's house is open. But this time around, no, we will not just say come in. If you are a prodigal son who want to see through repentance, and you confessing your faults and promising never to go back to them again, and bringing that which you have stolen, that's restitution. Or you tell us what has happened, and the interim government will receive you. Our history must be clean history, put on a clean slate. We are not going to go the dirty way of La Republique. No. The people who have jumped out with our money, the chairmen of the local government areas that swindled the money of last year and the one of 2020, and they have been discovered, all of them, all have gone. Any one of them that stole money that was meant to be for their local government area, none of them is with the interim government. And when they jump out, they turn to point fingers on Dr. Sako. Oh, Dr. Sako has done this, he has done this, he has done this. I told you a few days ago how one of them was lamenting that no evidence up till now, since October last year till today, there is no evidence that Dr. Sako has taken any money anywhere from anybody. But those who are shouting and making noise and jumping out is somebody in my village who said that people who already have built up hatred, jealousy about you, once they hear anything negative, they will not even want to find out. They will shout it on top of their voices. And when you ask them, they say, no, I was just shouting because I heard but you were shouting because you heard people shouting. And you shouted more than the people you heard them shouting. That's to show the real hatred and wickedness that lies in the heart of some people. They just carry it and they run. And there are some of them, I'm talking as a servant of God, there are some of them who are men of God. If they were men from God, they won't behave the way they behave. Because we have men of God, and we have men from God. The difference is clear. Men from God will hear from God, and they will talk. Don't misunderstand me. There are people who they call them men of God, but they are actually men from God. And I want to tell this house and tell the Ambazonians that God has found a man. Even with his imperfections as a man, God has found a man. Most of you who went to Sunday school, you know the story of David, but he was a man after God's heart. Ambazonians, cherish that which you have now, because if you don't cherish that which you have now, unfortunately for you, you may not be able to have this man again as the days go by. This is the time you need to cherish the man that you have. If you cannot cherish him now, I'm sorry, you may not be able to get him in the days ahead. So right now, as I'm about to run up, I want to tell the Ambazonian people, time has come for you to sit up and make sure that you do what you have to do. Before we go, yes.
Papa, now you love me so, and you know my name. I give you glory. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reverend. We have somebody on the line that has something to contribute to our history. And go ahead, sir. Just tell us what you want to tell Ambazonian people. They're listening.
Greetings to you, Pastor Komando, and thank you for all you do to keep the Ambazonian people and the international community informed as far as the history of Ambazonia. Thank you to your guest, Pastor, for his contribution today, and greetings to all Ambazonians. I just wanted to come in and give a perspective, a historical perspective to some of the destructions that we have witnessed and continue to witness since this war that was declared against us started in 2017. The recent destructions that we see, that we have experienced, especially the burning down of our villages, the burning down of houses, and most recently, the burning down of the hospital in Manfe, is a continuation of a history of destruction that goes back to the first day that La Republique and Southern Cameroons at the time and today Ambazonia made contact. Let us not forget that the first action that happened in the earliest days of our history was that the forces of East Cameroon marched over to West Cameroon in our capital in Boya, and systematically from there on destroy, the West Cameroon House of Assembly, and destroy the government of Prime Minister Bobby Ngom Joa.
Right.
And and from then on, we have experienced destruction of various forms. At that same time, let's not forget, they also destroyed the mobile wing of the West Cameroon Police Force at the time, or police system that was referred to as the mobile wing.
Right.
And since then, we have seen destruction of other institutions in Ambazonia, such as Wadawum,
Right.
Which was what the Womb Area Development Association. We have seen destruction of UNVDA, the Upper Noon Development, the Upper Noon Valley Development Association. We have seen the destruction of Power Camp. We have seen the destruction of Cameroon Bank. We have seen the destruction of the National Produce Marketing Board. We've seen and so on and so forth. So the list goes on.
Right.
So I just bring this to remind Ambazonians that our experience, our history with Cameroon is filled with various forms of destruction of institutions, destructions of businesses, destructions of our way of education. Let's not forget what is happening under the GCE board, and so on and so forth. And so the question now is, what do we do? What do we do with this history of destruction? Should we continue to accept this? I think the answer to that question overwhelmingly is a no.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to accept this kind of destruction. So the next question now is, what must we do? What we must do today is to work together as one person. What we must do today is for each Ambazonian to do their part, in making sure that, we flush La Republic out of Ambazonia.
Right.
If they refuse to come and sit down on the negotiation table, on the Swiss table to negotiate an end to this war, we are going to flush them out.
Yeah.
And for us to be able to do that, each Ambazonian needs to we need to work together, and each Ambazonian needs to work as if the need to get La Republic out of Ambazonia depends on you.
Yeah.
Whether your own effort is to fight like the boys and girls that we have today that have picked up the stakes to fight in defense of Ambazonia, or whether you are making contributions, financial contribution, or you are providing information.
Right.
Yes, or you are providing information to enemy location, enemy movement, enemy discussion, and so on. Or you are making intellectual contributions like, our guest pastor is doing today. Whatever it is that you are doing as an Ambazonian to put an end to this carnage, you do it as if the need to win this war tomorrow depends on you, as if the whole war depends on you. If each one of us, approaches this issue from that perspective, we will get these people out of our land sooner than later. And so, to cut it short, I want to thank you because you are already doing your own part, and your guest is doing our part. So I thought that this historical perspective might help the viewers and listeners today. It might help the international community understand the perspective of this element of destruction, because this is coming out straight out of La Republic playbook, colonial playbook. We saw it in Guinea-Conakry. If we go down memory lane, we saw it in Nigeria. We saw it in Morocco. Today we are seeing it in Ambazonia.
Right.
Destruction is La Republic's #1 strategy. France, especially, they are using La Republic, their proxy, today. But it is no doubt on any of our minds that this is stage managed. This war is stage managed from France.
Right.
And so what we are experiencing is what is coming out of French colonial playbook. And this generation has said, we are the never again generation, and we say the bus is going to stop here. We are not going to hand this war over to the next generation of Ambazonians to fight. It is going to end with our generation. And if each one of us fights as if the war depends on us, or the need to win depends on us, we'll do this sooner than later. Thank you very much for allowing me to make a contribution on your show today. And I thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much, comrade, for calling. And it's our pleasure to always have people like you to come in and buttress our history so that Ambazonia and the entire world can hear and know what is going on. Well, our time is gone, and it's time for me to sign out 5 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m. in Ambazonia. I've already encroached into another time. I want to announce in Ambazonia tomorrow, exactly 5 p.m., Comrade Fombat is coming back on FACO issue with a different perspective. For that, don't go away. Horizon is coming up right now. And after that, ethics on a developing nation will come up. I will call it quit for the day. God bless you, and see you tomorrow. See you very soon on ABC Amba TV. Bye.